All right, guys. Everyone's here. Go, 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 go,
Welcome to
go.
Movie Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It's the third week of
Ugh.
Lewis Gossett July, and we watched
What a travesty of a
a
month.
movie.
Dude, watched is a strong way to put that.
This movie is, I don't even know what to do with this. This movie is wild.
This movie is so odd. I still don't know if the beginning of the movie is a flashback or not. I'm not sure.
They walked their ass to Arizona from, I don't know what's. I lost the thread part. Like the towards the end of this movie, I frankly don't know what's going on.
Dude,
I'll give the general picture.
I've paid more attention to movies I watched on my phone while I was driving than I did to this movie. It was fucking interminable.
The bad guy was Billy from Predator, right?
That was him. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's from 48 Hours.
Sonny Landham. Sonny Landham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot he was in Predator, but he's the bad guy in 48 Hours, right?
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah, he's a heavy in a couple other films. But we watched Firewalker with Louis Gossett Jr., Chuck Norris, some woman who can't act.
I thought she was kind of hot, though.
She was hot, but
sure.
And we had a reused asset from Indiana Jones, which was nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that woman had a hell of a dumper on her too.
She did. One of those. She emotionally was all over the board. Like she was like, if they wrote her as
god awful
schizophrenic, like they nailed it because she is.
Well, she's like a surprise psychic, which was weird.
She's like a surprise psychic. She's attached to them. She doesn't know anything about them. She loves them. She could care less. She's terrified one minute, then wearing a human skull on her face the next.
Then she wants to fuck Chuck Norris.
She might be pregnant. I don't know, or has a tapeworm.
This movie's wild. So that's Firewalker. We'll talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, Alec's not here this week because he's in paradise. He's in fucking Hawaii.
He's in Valhalla.
Hopefully he did not watch Firewalker.
I hope not.
What did y'all watch this week? Gox?
I finished Monster Hunter finally. It took 3 weeks. It's awful. It might be the worst.
It took 3 weeks.
It might be the worst. I said I was going to finish it, and I finished it. It might be the worst Capcom movie to date.
Okay, wait a minute. What's worse of the movies that took you multiple weeks to watch, this or Hellraiser Typewriter?
Oh, this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'll go back to Hellraiser Typewriter.
So wait, this is worse than that last Resident Evil movie we watched?
Yes.
Wow.
This movie.
Anybody watch the show?
Netflix almost got me. The Welcome to Raccoon City Netflix show. I almost turned it on the other day. I might still, but it's Capcom's Monster Hunter, and as someone who's a fan of the Monster Hunter games, they worked in a lot of references. They did the dual blade demon mode. For some reason, they're using an insect glaive, but it's real bad. It's real bad.
So I didn't finish it because it was just happened. I was on like one of those like Plex channels, but Event Horizon was on, right?
Yeah,
and like
that's Paul W.S. Anderson's best.
Yeah, movie. Well, yeah, but it's not only his best movie, but like what happened to him? Like he felt like he's I don't know. Like he went like insane. Still fucking rules. Like
is Event Horizon better than Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat's really good too. I mean,
was that Paul W.S. Anderson?
Yeah. I think Mortal Kombat was his first movie.
I'm gonna say Event Horizon was better, but the first Mortal Kombat's.
But like,
great.
What happened to that guy? Like, he just makes like utter trash now. Like, I mean, not that he was ever like. I mean, I think both movies are good, but it's.
I think it's one of those. Why do you keep saying Carl's Juniors all the time? It's like, well, because they fucking pay me every time I do it. Like,
yeah, I guess that's probably true.
What would you rather do? Make La Age d'Or and die alone, or bang Mila Jovovich and make movies nobody gives a fuck if you make them well or not?
Yeah, that's
got you there.
Point. Yeah.
Wait, didn't he? He made Soldier, and I didn't hate Soldier.
He made that.
That is a in-universe Blade Runner movie.
He directed Soldier. Yeah.
Huh. Soldier might be his best movie.
Yeah, so he did Mortal Kombat, then he did Event Horizon, then he did Soldier, Then Resident Evil,
Soldier came
Alien
out
versus
after
Predator.
those movies? I would have thought that was like way before.
Soldier is 98, Event Horizon 97, Mortal Kombat 95.
Huh.
Soldier's a Kurt Russell movie. Am I thinking of that right movie?
Yeah, Soldier's Kurt Russell movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but I recall distinctly.
Yeah, it's in the Dick verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dick first. Big ups Dick first.
Anyway,
well,
so you finished Monster Hunter.
Finished Monster Hunter. Over the course of the weekend, so this was an interesting experience, actually. I haven't watched network television in forever.
Did you watch FBI or Hospital?
No, we watched so we had IFC on. So first of all, IFC is showing titties, bush, and saying fuck, and they don't care anymore. It's pretty great.
They never did. I think they always could do that.
But on network TV with commercials, like I've never seen a commercial for like
they're not network, they're cable.
Well, fine, they're cable, but I mean
technically well the thing is that technically cable channels, any cable channel could be HBO because they're not
beholden to all the same rules.
They're not beholden to FCC rule. Yeah.
Oh, then IFC's fucking God bless them. They're leaning into
the only reason they do is because they want advertisers. So that's why they basically that's why USA is basically like a regular channel. Like
you can like show anything on anything that's pay. Like the Deep Throat documentary on Netflix has like a scene of a blowjob in it, like full ass.
Well, I guess that's true. Well, I just didn't know. They were playing like that on IFC.
Oh, so like James, I remember. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I remember James Franco put out a fucking movie called Interior Leather Bar.
Yeah.
Which was like it was supposed to be like the in-between scenes of cruising. I don't know. James Franco is a horrible filmmaker, but there was like full-on gay sex in that movie, like hardcore gay sex in a Netflix. So I remember I watched it like 20 minutes. I was like, whoa, hey.
Super aroused.
And then I just whacked off.
Yeah. Well, over the course of this weekend, in the background, I saw pieces of the following films. Escape from LA, still not very good. Stripes, still very good. Blues Brothers, still very, very good.
Half of Stripes is good.
The first half.
Yeah.
That's the part I saw. Yeah. I like the second half, too. I like when they take the RV into Czechoslovakia. And I also saw most of A League of Their Own, which I will defend to the death. I love A League of Their Own.
It's a good movie,
who doesn't like A League of Their Own?
I don't know, but I'm just making sure. I think okay. So we had this debate.
Dude, I fucking love Lori Petty. I had the biggest crush on her forever.
But peak Gina Davis is it A Long Kiss Goodnight or is it A League of Their
Own? What's that show where she's the president or whatever? Like, give me that one. Where she's a little bit older.
That's your peak Davis.
Yeah, the Jill Biden pantsuit. Man, too much frizz in Beetlejuice. Like, I can't. I don't like those '80s cuts. That fits a problem for me. I know you do. I know you do.
I celebrate them.
Put some Reebok classics on that broad.
Hell yeah. And then the last thing I watched was I revisited Shutter Island.
I like that movie a lot.
That movie is, even if you know the twist, it's almost it's even kind of more enjoyable just to watch it all unfold.
I like that movie a lot. What's her name's really good in it too.
Yeah, he should be in it more.
Who?
What happened to him? Jackie Earl Haley? He just like
Jackie Earl. Yeah, he's like
he went away. Where is he?
Yeah, he get trouble. You get me too.
No, he's still good. What's her name? The actress that plays Leo's wife in that movie.
Oh, she's in Drive and stuff, right? What's her name?
No, she's not in Drive. You're thinking of a different actress. She was in Blue Valentine with Baby Goose. I can't think of her name. Michelle Williams. She's fantastic in Shutter Island.
She's really good in it. Leo's really good in it. Ruffalo's really good in it. There's some effects that are kind of cheesy that's just the way they were in the day. But who's like Ben Kingsley in that movie? Like, I guess it goes without saying Ben Kingsley is a good actor, but Ben Kingsley in that movie is like a tour de force. Like, that movie is fucking rad as shit. And it's like, I mean, spoiler alert for Shutter Island, right? The end of that movie is Leo just resigning himself to he'd rather be lobotomized than know the truth, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah, I believe so.
Like, at the very end of that movie, he's sitting there with Mark Ruffalo, like, on the stoop, and they've already had that breakthrough, right, where he knows he's Andrew Leedus and he's saying all this stuff, and then they sit back down and Mark Ruffalo sits next to him and he goes, "Hey, what's our next move? We got to get off this island, Chuck." And it's like it's like he fell back into his psychosis, right? But then he like looks over and he goes, "What do he say? Would you rather die as a good man or live as a monster?" Right. And then he walks off to go get lobotomized, which is I think him just
it's kind of similar to the Old Boy ending in a weird way.
But I fucking that movie fucking rules. And it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. It's Scorsese doing some of his best work.
Back before he made movies I found tedious and annoying.
Yeah. I remember the first time I watched that before I knew the twist. That movie's scary as hell. So I was like, really, what the fuck is happening in this thing?
I need to revisit it. I haven't watched it in quite some time, but I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, I'm very fond of it. But that's everything I watched. Sean.
I just watched one thing. One thing. I was watching some Plinkett reviews, and I was like, let me turn on fucking The Force Awakens. Let me see if that sucks. And it is pretty bad. I
think we all said it when
it's one of the few movies that like has tricked me in the same way that like I guess the Phantom Menace kind of did too, because I was like so starved for Star Wars that when it came out, because we all went to the theater and like I liked it. I had a good time, I mean it still looks good. But when you start like picking at it, man, it is a fucking mess. Like, and it's just like, remember that.
I remember walking out of it kind of lower than everyone else, and then you were
right, and then wrong,
and then wrong.
We were all wrong, and then right.
I still think that like that movie is like the next two are going to be really good, and that didn't happen.
Yeah,
because it felt like it's like a recentering, right? We're putting everything back after the prequels because everybody hated that. So like, let's make it like propulsive at least.
Yeah,
and then like I don't know if like my viewing of the movie is now colored by the second one and the third one, which I still haven't seen.
I feel like it has to be.
I don't think I could separate it because like I know what's coming, and it's like. But even on its own, it's still not very good. Like, it's... I don't know. I think I just hate Star Wars now. Like, I don't even want to go back and watch any of the old ones. I have, like, no desire to watch. Maybe Rogue One. But, like, even that I'm scared to go back and watch now because I'm so, like, fucking sour on it as a franchise.
I do want to revisit Rogue One sometime because I still hold that in pretty... My memory of that is pretty... I've seen it several times.
I don't think I talked about it on the show, but I watched Obi-Wan, the show.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated it. It's really bad. It's like it looks really bad. Like it looks really cheap a lot of the time.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Secondly, like it's just more of the same, like Obi-Wan rescues Princess Leia, and it's just like Can we please, for the love of fucking God, get away from these fucking characters? Like,
well, especially now, like I got it before, like, and it's weird, right? Since '77, Star Wars has been a product. Like it hasn't been like a movie since like the first one, right? So we were little, and it's like whatever. But now it's like everything I hate about modern media. Like I can just like kind of point at Star Wars, but. You figure, like, everybody's already got Disney Plus. Like, everybody's got that. Now would be the time to experiment. And, like, why aren't they? Because, like,
Marvel's Marvel sort of did that with, like, WandaVision, right? Like,
and then they quickly got away from it.
And then they got away from it.
I think Star Wars kind of dabbled a little bit with The Mandalorian, but then they reeled it back in.
Yeah, but then season 2 was like, remember this, remember that, and then you got
that's what I'm saying. Like
Star Wars Battlefront Luke. I hate that shit.
Like for a little bit there, they're kind of like, ooh, let's try some shit, but then they were like, uh-oh.
But now, like, it's Star Wars has just turned into
the part. I'm sorry, Sean. But the part doesn't make any sense because The Mandalorian was like very successful. So it's like, why don't they take those lessons? It's like, people like really like this because it's like kind of fresh and new, and we don't know this character, The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? We like Baby Yoda. And it's like, this is cool, but then it's like, nope, here, we got to put fucking Luke in it. Like, no, we don't. Like, get away from that shit.
They're probably willing to, it's probably like, just like You know, the other Marvel stuff, right? All the Disney stuff. They're probably willing to experiment up until a point, and then when they see there's enough views and enough eyes looking at it, it's like, well, now we got to pump it chock-a-block full of everything
Bad mouthing Star
It's
Wars
like the
as I'm
whole Star
drinking
Wars
from an
expanded
R2D2
universe has turned into the like, hey, can I have a Coke? And it's like, is Pepsi okay? It's like, well, not really, but what are my options, right? Like,
Right.
I have no other options almost for fucking entertainment at this point. So I guess I got to fucking take whatever slop you give me. But
it's like an entertainment monolith.
Obi-Wan is trash. Like also like they shoehorn in Vader, and of course like they have to fight, but like you know what's gonna happen because they got to tie it back into like you know the last time I met you, all that. It's like God, it's just shoot me in the head. Like I'm so tired of this crap.
I think that's what really like I really get irritated with Defenders of the Last Jedi. Is like, oh, people don't like it because it's different. I'm like, it's not different like at all.
Bad.
It's bad. Like
also like it's not even
was
strong.
Bad the entire time.
It's also not even strong enough to live on its own conviction, right? Because the whole plot of the movie is supposedly, oh, kill the past, kill the past. The past is all over that fucking movie.
The past literally comes back as a ghost to save them at the end. Like,
give me a fucking break. Like that movie is such a fucking mess. And people, oh, you don't like it because it's different. No, I don't like it because it's bad. Like I said this. Go back to our 2.5 hour like rant after we watched it. But that movie jumps up a whole lot if Rey goes evil at the end. If she befriends, like that's a fucking movie.
Like I don't give a shit about them like killing Luke Skywalker's character because like he's not real, and I don't give a shit. But like if halfway through it he's like, I won't train you, and she just cuts his head off, like okay, well at least you did something. Like I'm interested now.
Like if you had like I still so this is like the biggest probably critique I can give to the current state of Star Wars right now.
Is that neither of us have watched the fucking third movie?
I still haven't seen the third one, and it's been available to me for free for the better part of 2 years now?
Yeah, more? I don't know. We were doing a show with Nate and I talked about the fact that you and I haven't seen a fucking Star Wars movie is like insane. Like, it's just like, nah, I'm good.
And it's red. I could watch it at any time.
I can turn it on literally right now.
I just don't.
I just don't. Missing anything. That's the thing. You're not missing a thing. It's terrible.
And that's a
also the next show is Andor, which is about that guy from Rogue
Cassian
One.
Andor from Rogue One.
Yeah, pass.
Who asked for that show? Who gives a shit?
I mean, the thing I liked about Rogue One is all those characters are dead.
I thought that was right. They could shoot their shot.
I mean, you give me the Jane asshole show because she's super hot, but
whatever. Give me all the robots.
Make a fucking, I don't know, like a Kyle Katarn show or something. Like, anything. Like, you've got like all these.
What about a Dash Rendar show? Remember that guy?
Or like
Shadows of the Empire.
Make like a Band of Brothers type Republic Commando. You can still dig shit out of the past, but like, goddamn, I'm tired of seeing the same 4 people. Like,
I remember I had a Republic Commando novel. It was like the novelization of the game, and it was actually pretty good.
Legit, I have all of them. There's like 7 of them.
People are big on like the Bad Batch and stuff. People seem to like that.
Yeah, I hate that animation style. Like, it really turns me off. I don't like the way it looks.
The Clone Wars style animation.
Yeah,
the second,
I know people are into it, but for me, like, it's got go home heat. It might be a quality show. I just don't like the look. I think
or they really could just make something up. Like, the galaxy's a big place. It might even be the biggest.
It's funny, right? Like, I remember
that's
when
a Kurt Vonnegut quote. I remember
when they were first announcing like all the spin-off stuff, and there's all these rumors. And I mean, now obviously my opinion of the man has changed significantly. But originally, I guess Zack Snyder had an idea to make Seven Samurai in Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Also, that's like a good, that is a good basis to make Star Wars because the original Star Wars is
based on Kurosawa movies. Yeah.
So like, that's fun. Like, do that. Now, obviously, it's Snyder, and it probably would have been terrible, but at least it's an idea. Like, you don't have to be. You don't have to be crazy original, right? Like, you just have to, just do something. Like,
Star Wars isn't crazy original. The original, because we were just talking about it. We love Quentin Tarantino. There isn't a fucking original bone in any of those movies, but they're all great. Like,
fantastic. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I go back to Solo. Remember that fucking movie?
Yeah.
And, like, just make a heist movie. Like, just make a regular ass. Not what they did, but anyway.
I still beating the drum for that fucking Han Solo Boba Fett No Country for Old Men movie that I've had in my head forever. Like,
I don't know.
But like, they can't
also,
even
like, you have the
Boba
rights
Fett
to the
show.
Sorry.
Like, they can't even fucking like. It's like, we're gonna make this different. We're gonna take an old character and make him reference our new show that also references our old stuff. It's like, god damn, dude! Like, just fucking do anything else.
I mean, the thing with the Mandalorian was, it was just like, okay, they're on Tatooine, that's fine. There's Baby Yoda, that's fine. But like, it still felt like its own thing. It didn't feel like, you know, obviously there are going to be little references here and there and locations, you know. But like,
Bill
it introduced
Burr
like
in a fucking Prison Break. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, it's something. It
introduced new characters, like whatever. What's her name? Gina Carano's character was, and like some other new characters. It's like, it wasn't like, hey, where's Han at? Where's Chewie at? Like, I don't. Anyway, well, I could talk about how much I hate Star Wars for hours. It's just so disappointing. It's just.
But again, like, you can't get away from these fucking, like, alt-right incel weirdos that, like, it's like, oh, all the fucking Obi-Wan complaining I've seen is about the black lady character. I don't know her name, but
also her character is pointless. And it's another one of those lame, like, she goes to the dark side, but then she comes back, and it's just like...
Yeah. But it's like, you know, they're just complaining because it's a black woman. Like, it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, complaining because the content is trash, not because it happens to be delivered by an African-American
But it sucks because, the content is trash, but, like, it's like, I don't want to be aligned with these fucking weirdos, so I'm just going to play trucks. You know what I mean?
It's like, I don't care for Amy Schumer, but I'm like, does that make me a misogynist?
Like, she does suck, though.
She's awful.
Right?
Nobody likes her.
Like, if she was a man, she'd still suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it might be funnier if a man did the same exact act. Like, I mean, that would make me laugh.
Yeah.
But, no,
anything else, Sean?
No, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
That is enough.
Yeah. Teagles.
I watched one thing.
One thing?
I kept hearing, and I should have known better. I kept hearing this movie called The Empty Man as like a hidden gem that came out last year. And none of the like film people that I follow said this, just this other like random like horror people. So I watched it. Now, the one little piece of fun trivia is this is the final movie that Fox produced before Disney bought them out. This is the last thing that they made. Now, I don't even think it has the Fox like affiliation. Like, I don't know. It's
is it on Disney Plus?
No, it's on HBO Max. But it's put out by Boom Studios. Apparently it's based on a comic book. I really wanted to like this movie. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It's too fucking long. It's a movie that it's trying. Apparently, the guy that made this has never made another movie, and you can tell because he is trying to do too much. This movie is 3 movies. The first 20 minutes is this kind of cool, in the mountains of madness kind of story where these hikers encounter this weird eldritch, like kind of tomb, and then one of them goes crazy and murders the other 3, and it's cool. It's like a wonderful little short horror film. Like, it's great. And that's the opening of the movie. And it's like a great setup. You're like, okay, where is this going? Then it goes into like Beware of the Pee Poo Poo Man, where it's like this killer that's like an urban legend for the kids, and it kills these high school kids. And it's like, oh, I hate this kind of movie. Why is this here? But then it turns into this procedural where this guy is investigating like this disappearance of this girl, and he's looking into this death cult. And I'm like, I'm here for this, but why did I have to watch an hour of the Beware of the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man? Like, it's a fucking mess. Like, I want this movie to be more coherent, and I want it to take away like a bunch of the shit that I don't like. The acting is not good. The writing is pretty good. Like, this is an example of, it's a shame this script got handed to this filmmaker, Because I feel like if you gave this to a more competent person, they would have been like, yeah, this part doesn't work. Like, this doesn't work. Cut this out. You know what I mean? Give me just trim it down. Make this an hour and a half. You'd had a great movie, or maybe at least a very good movie. Also, this movie does something that I can't fucking stand, where its twist ending doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it doesn't. It's a twist ending for the sheer purpose of people going, no way. But if you actually think about it, then the whole movie is in service to who? Like, it just doesn't work. And I'm talking very vaguely about it. But
are we like all in a turtle's fart or something?
No, the title is I mean, I don't want to spoil it because this movie, it's like brand new. It's only been out for like, I don't know, a year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's not worth watching. I'm more disappointed than angry about it.
Is it like a Place Beyond the Pine things where you're with it up until a certain point? It's just like, why didn't they end this? Or is it just because the middle is so like shitty?
It's just the middle doesn't make sense. So like, not
is
only
there a connecting thread that ties these three plots together? Okay.
Yeah. They connect. It's just the middle part is it's just the kind of movie I can't stand, because it looks like every cheap, like, you know, what was that? Dare or some stupid. It looks like
Truth
all those Blumhouse Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
It looks like all those shitty Blumhouse, like, college, like, this monster's killing me, like the Slender Man's coming out to get me kind of thing. And I hate that movie. And it doesn't, like, this isn't like and I can see where the director thought that he was making like a You're Next, where he takes like a premise that's been run into the ground, but he does something clever with it. This isn't that. What happens is the middle part of the movie, where it's Beware the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man, is just these kids that are like, I'm scared I'm gonna die, and then the scary, poorly designed monster man kills me. The design of the actual killer is fucking lame. The murders are lame. And again, like, without spoiling anything, once you watch it, you're like, well, what was the fucking point of that? Because, again, once you know the ending, the movie makes no sense, because, like, I guess the movie was literally for us, because no one in the universe would have done any of these things, because your main character is an unreliable narrator, to put it very mildly. If you're familiar with the concept of tulpas, that's kind of where this movie comes to play.
Mexican sandwich?
No, the Twin Peaks double.
Yeah, a tulpa. I don't know. I didn't hate this movie, but it is a 5-6 territory. It's very frustrating. Watch the first 20 minutes, because it's very good. That part is so good. And really, the like procedural part where he's going into this cult, we all know TJ loves his death cults, and it's very like Lovecraftian, and I love all that stuff, but man, that middle part, just like, and it just slows the movie down to a fucking crawl. And it's just like, you know, you got to learn the rules of the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and they tell the fucking, like, all of the stuff is told through a flashback, which again, I really wish I could spoil it, but it doesn't make any sense why you would have any of this stuff, because fuck it, I'm just going to spoil it. If you don't want to fucking be spoiled, then don't listen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The main character is the Empty Man. Basically, the fucking death cult has created him full cloth as a tulpa, as a vessel for their extra-dimensional Eldritch horror being. So he never really existed. He's only literally been in form for like 2 days. And everyone is in service is basically just pushing him along the line.
Why does this sound a lot like a shitty version of Silent Hill 3?
It is. It's fucking dumb. It makes no sense, because then they're like why is everybody playing along? Why do people act like they know him? Because they don't. Because he doesn't exist. He literally is like a...
Well, they have to act like they don't know him, otherwise the movie won't happen.
Exactly. That's my point. That's exactly my point. The movie once you learn the twist, the movie shouldn't exist because the movie makes no fucking sense, and not in like a fun way where you could be like, you could take artistic interpretation and go, oh, okay. Like I had this problem with Jordan Peele's Us, which I couldn't stand because of this. This movie has the same problem where it over explains itself. Because once you establish all these fucking rules, then the movie doesn't make any sense. Now, you could have been like, hey, this guy's a tulpa and all this weird shit's happening. Just make it vague. That way, you don't contradict yourself when, like...
Couldn't they just have, like a dropped line where it's like, hey, we gotta pretend this guy's real so he doesn't know what's going on?
So wait, like, is he interacting with... Like, what is his interaction through the rest of the film? Is he both the pee-pee poo-poo man and the stalker of the pee-pee poo-poo man?
He has like a high tension thing?
The pee-pee poo-poo man is... No, the pee-pee poo-poo man is this... Well, I don't know, to be honest. He's this extra-dimensional being that gets into people's heads and kills them.
Okay.
But, like, by the end of the movie, I don't really know. I guess that's the point. You don't know what's real and what wasn't. But, like, I guess the movie was for us, the audience. Yeah. Like, because it's real dumb. It's real fucking dumb. And they go out of their way to make it incredibly dumb. But yeah, I did not care for this movie. It's very frustrating. Like, I like a twist ending. Like, this movie to me felt like a dumb version of the movie Kill List, which I really like.
That movie rules.
But that movie has an ending that, like, hits you in the fucking gut and makes you feel sick to your stomach, whereas this has, like, an ending where you go, oh, that's weird. Doesn't really make a whole lot of fucking sense, but okay. And, like, I don't know. This is a movie that, like, I feel like people will tell you that it's deep, but it's an inch wide. It's an inch deep and a mile wide or whatever. It is not deep at all. It is very surface level. It's just weird, and it's a weird twist, and it's just like, so what? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't. And then the thing that drove me the most crazy is once the main character finds out he doesn't exist. He's basically been willed into power by this cult. He keeps having flashbacks to the memories he didn't have that didn't happen. But what's the point of that? Why?
And how?
Well, because it's like a Wolverine situation, right? Like he's been willed into existence, and they wrote a whole backstory for him and all this stuff. So in his mind, he has like he's a fully formed person, but like it's still dumb because we already know he's not. Like, I don't know. Again, like that ending, like I already see a lot of like, man, I didn't see that ending coming. It's like, yeah, because it's fucking bad. Like, it's weird and it's different, but it doesn't make it good. I don't know. I think maybe the comics I bet you the comics are probably pretty good. But this was a mess of a fucking movie. But yeah,
did they ever option the fucking? Remember Black Hole? Remember that comic? I don't know what made me think of that, but
yeah, Alexander Aja was supposed to make it years ago, and I think it's one of those like production hell movies.
Because that seems like a slam dunk movie. Like, you could not make that decent.
That would be great. That would be like that like to use a popular term these days. That is a A24 vibes story. Like, I could see that getting made very easily.
Yeah,
I don't know. The empty man is the main character. That's the whole point. Like, he literally is an empty man because he is nothing. He's a vessel. That's all he is. They created him for the Cthulhu monster to go into, and it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If you got 2 hours to waste, go ahead and watch it on HBO Max. But that's all I watched. Yeah. I watched Obi-Wan, like I said, but I watched that like 2 weeks ago, and I just disliked it so much I didn't bring it up. I finished The Boys, but I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
That was very good. I'm very excited for that to start. And I started watching 10 minutes of that Baltimore cop show on HBO, but I fell asleep.
The Wire?
Not because it was... No, the new one. It's called like We Run the Night, We Own the Night or something. It's got John Bernthal in it. It wasn't because it was bad. It's because I started watching it at like 2:30 in the morning, which is not a good idea.
Mm.
But anyway, let's get into Firewalker.
before we start, it's a shame that the Supreme Court wasn't brave in 1986 to overturn Roe versus Wade, so we wouldn't have to watch this fucking thing.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my god!
I locked in at an 8 last week, and I'm gonna have to walk that right back.
Oh yeah. I was talking to TJ before it even started. Like, fucking, I was excited because it's canon, but for every, like, fucking American Ninja 3, The Domination, there's, like, 10 of these.
I'm not gonna lie, like, the first bits was, like, Golem and Globus, like, and they're like dune buggies with explosions and dumb shit. I was, like, popping. I was like, okay,
yeah,
let's go. Nope.
This is the same guy that made the Guns of Navarone, which is fucking mind-blowing. That, like, how do you stoop this low?
Well, it's like you said earlier about Paul W.S. Anderson. This is clearly like this guy's just like, give me the money. I don't give a fuck. Like, just get this done. This movie might be as incoherent as The Empty Man. Like it is all over the place. This movie is very confusing in its own way.
Yeah, like it's.
Well, it's one of those movies, too, it doesn't help because of the production. It's like, I can't tell by the scenery where we're supposed to be because, like, parts of the jungle set also look like California, and it just, like, it visually is a mess.
Yeah. And the movie, go ahead, guys. What happens in this movie? Good luck.
Okay. So, the movie opens. Screen Gems presents a Goban Galavis production, and we see Louis Gossett Jr. and his best friend Chuck Norris in a dune buggy, buggying over dunes, being chased by some sort of raiders or I don't know, mercenaries or whatnot. They get driven into an oasis, and then they get staked down to the earth, and a guy in like some sort of like junket almost level dune buggy rolls up and like is like eat my dick and shit, and then hands a bottle of water and then dips off, and then Chuck Norris crushes said bottle in his hand and then unstakes himself and Louis Gossett Jr. to the ground, and they are in the deserts of Tunisia. I don't know where they are, but presumably they walk to a bar in Arizona that's 5,000 miles away because that's the next place we see them.
This is the first problem with this movie. I think I like. Let me just take the temperature of the room here. We all thought this was a flashback, right? Because they're in the middle of the desert and they get out of this trap, and Chuck Norris is like, "Man, all I can think about is drinking a beer at Stinky McGee's." And
I think this might be one of those, like, and I'm sure we'll reference this documentary a couple times. In Electric Boogaloo, they talked about how Menachem Golem had a big fucking hard on for just grabbing movies after they were cut and recutting them just like haphazardly.
Oh, well, that would make sense because this doesn't make sense. He's like I need to go to the bar.
There is no like scene to scene flow in this that makes any sense.
No.
Like it's like you had a 12-hour marathon of this on this show, and you just keep dropping in and out as you're doing laundry. It's like, wait a minute, how'd they get here all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think I brought up this concept before, but this movie is a cipher, right? You could watch this movie from any point, and it makes just as much sense if you watched it from the beginning. Like
I sneezed real hard, and I must have missed a major plot point because the next thing I know, we were somewhere else.
So full disclosure, I fell asleep while watching this. And I woke up and I assumed that I missed like a ton of movie. So I just went back this morning and I rewatched from where I knew I fell asleep. Turns out I only missed about 3 minutes of movie. Like it just seemed
Full disclosure, I almost pretended to be sick to not have to talk about this movie.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think that was a flashback. I think that happens, and that's how we meet the characters.
But how do they get from the desert to the bar? Louis Gossett Jr. goes out of his way to go, that bar is 5,000 miles away.
Also,
the bar.
Where on earth is 5,000 miles away from Arizona?
Why is it the Japanese army in this desert?
Was that who that was?
I thought so. That guy has a very Japanese kind of look to him.
Well, everyone else had sort of a mixed bag of like mercenaries thing going on.
Well, no, but you also know that the one guy's supposed to be Asian because he's wearing a Yankees hat, and that is 80s coding for an Asian person.
True.
Well, I don't know. But here we are, 5,000 miles from Arizona. They go to Shucky's bar, and there at Shucky's, they're reviewing their 15 previous heists or scams or schemes. Louis Gossett Jr. is a paleontologist or an archaeologist or something of that such, a professor, a learned man. And Chuck Norris, you don't really ever find out what Chuck's background is. He's just sort of an adventurer. Yeah. Which was something you could do in the 80s, apparently.
Yeah,
put it on a
that was a real ass job.
That was, you got a W-2 for adventuring. And then this lady walks into the Mos Eisley Cantina and is like, hey, I need brave men and red wine.
This lady who is definitely not Willie Scott.
No, she's not. And then she walks in, and the bartender hands her some shit red wine, and then vouches for her to them.
This lady walks into this bar that literally is just like hobo stab bar on the outskirts of the dunes, and asks this motherfucker for a wine list. Like, what is this?
Well, she's just playing up the fact she's a fish out of water, right?
Yeah, the whole movie she's acting like she just got a piece of rebar removed from her brain. Like,
she's disassociating the entire time.
She's dissociated so hard she shit her pants.
Apparently she was in Flash Gordon.
I love that. Yeah. I love that bit.
So she saunters up to them and is like, hey boys, come to the table. I thought we were gonna have like a fun, like, oh, she's a prostitute joke. Like they're gonna act like they're trying to pick her up and nobody understands that this is actually a deal for adventure. But no, it gets straight to a deal for adventure. She has acquired a map that will show them something somewhere on a Native American reservation. So then they go to that Native American reservation. Oh, first of all, they get like crossbow sniped by this fella who she refers to as a Cyclops, but he's just a man with an eye patch.
Yeah, they say Cyclops a lot. Also, like, I don't think, aren't traditionally Cyclopses with an eye in the middle?
The middle,
yeah. They were not Biclopses at one point.
Yeah, former Biclops.
Also, she just drops the fucking Cyclops thing like it's nothing.
She refers to him as a red Cyclops.
Which is super racist, by the way.
Also, maybe a reference to the Eric the Red persona for Cyclops in the X-Men.
Strong, wow. Big up.
Yeah.
So then she's like, then Louis Scott Jr.'s like, yeah, we can't fight dragons and wizards or some bullshit.
This movie could have used dragons and wizards, honestly. It would have made just as much sense.
Absolutely.
So then I forget what they do next. I think they go to visit some Native American fella in his shed, and then he like Jones on the white man. Then he moves next door to his like 20% of the finder's fee, like truth telling TP, and gives him some sort of vague shit. And then they go back to some sort of Motel 6 where a woman appears apropos of nothing. Well, meantime, you're having like a shaman off where like two shamans in different parts of the building or two parts of like the county are like chanting over fire at each other.
Can I make another confession?
That's what was going on. I was totally lost in this scene.
Also, at some point in one of these scenes, there's a new universe comic, and I spent the better part of the next third of the movie reading an article about the history of Valiant Comics and how Jim Shooter was a psycho. And like, because that comic book popped up, this is where my headspace was watching this movie.
It was Cyforce.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say this, and maybe I'm probably off base, but the would-be brainwashed assassin girl in this scene
is a snake.
Huh? No. Am I going too far? What's the part where Chuck Norris gets knocked out and the girl tries
She's a snake.
She's a snake?
Yes.
What? Excuse me?
She shows up to his hotel room, offers him a tonic or a potion. He's I think he legitimately says, I love potions.
He does. He drinks so real quick, the snake girl. Yeah. I think that they told her she was playing the wrong kind of Indian. I swear her accent was like all over the place. Like she was doing Dago Frank.
I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, I did.
But now Chuck Norris is knocked out, and she's about to stab him with the. Oh wait, stop, pause. They go first of all. They go to the Indian reservation, and they climb a mountain, and this woman finds a cave out of nowhere. Then they find like a painting of like the Aztecs or something.
Oh,
they find a bunch of bones that the woman is scared of, only to have her fade to darkness, which I was like, oh, maybe she's a spirit ghost. No, she's laying on an altar with a human skull on her head, like, look at me, I'm fun.
This is where Louis Gossett Jr., professional archaeologist, is confused why there would be like Hispanic and Native American things in the same place, not knowing that Hispanics are just Native Americans.
Yeah. So they find a sacrificial dagger buried in the skull of an old conquistador, and then then it turns into a weird comedy shootout between some Native Americans with bows and arrows and our heroes as the young lady gets absconded through the caves to get up to, like, I guess a sacrificial altar at the top of the butte. And then when they get chased down by Louis Gossett Jr. and Chuck Norris, the dude just yeets himself off the side after he sees the sacrificial dagger. And I'm like, what? And then they go to a hotel room, and everyone's like, well, that was fun. And then we have this potion thing. And then the potion lady was going to stab Chuck Norris with a sacrificial dagger, I think. But then the girl had like a psychic vision that freaked her out. So then she rushed into Chuck Norris's room to fight this lady. Then Louis Gossett Jr. fucking blackjacks her over the back of the head, and they throw her in a storage closet. But then the next day, everybody's like, where'd she go? She was locked in here. There's no way out. And then this camera pans up to like a fucking python in the ceiling, because during the shaman off, the one bad shaman with the one eye was holding like a python over the fire, like shaking and chanting. So I think he was imbuing the python with lady powers, which never happens again.
Damn it, Cogs. You're making this movie sound pretty good.
I'm doing a lot of work for it.
This movie is not nearly as interesting as Be warned. If you hear this and you're like, damn, Gog's making this sound kind of fun. It's not fun. No.
It's not. And then they're like, okay, so where do we go? It's like, well, there's Aztecs and Mayans. We're just going to stab a map directly between their ancient lands. And that's precisely where they need to be.
Your description of movies is like Cece's Pizza, where it's like, hey, macaroni and cheese pizza, that sounds awesome. And then you get there, it's like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, no, so then the rest of the movie, I think, takes place in like them trying to fuck around their way through like the jungles and forests and
Burbank,
oh wait, I know at some point, oh my god, at some point they wander into a town that's been beset by a warlord, and the warlord is John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, the Rhys asset from fucking Temple, or from
who's
Indiana
like their
Jones.
best friend, who's also a warlord, and like he sets them up to like hang out, and then they peace out, and there's this weird drop line. It's like, I think that's the last we'll ever see of him. And it's just like John Rhys Davies like waving at the camera, like.
I think this is a victim of the Golem edit.
Yeah. They also give him a parting gift of 2 pigs and a bunch of chickens.
Oh, the pig squealing drove my dogs.
Oh my
nuts.
God! So like I don't know why. I mean, it's a canon movie, but like the sound editor was like, let's make the pig squealing the loudest thing in the fucking scene. Like it's so distracting.
It's like a fucking horror movie. It's like something to like unnerve you. Like it's in Jacob's Ladder or something. Like it's the fucking worst.
Now here's where I started to lose it.
Oh, is this before or after the Trading Places train scene?
This is that's right. They did Operation Bad Habit.
Yeah.
That's right. They fucking needed to like. I forget because this is after, because they get to San Guadalupe or whatever, and they're like, we're gonna dress up like priests for no reason. And then I think Louis Gossett Jr. might have actually laid on hands a person and saved their life.
Well, there's a bizarre scene I was talking to TJ about before we got on where it's like, hey, speak Latin. It's like, I don't speak Latin. It's like, yeah, but you speak Spanish, which is the language that everybody else is speaking. Why not do that?
Yeah. He's like saying like bullshit, get up now. He's doing pig Latin.
Yeah, and also there's also a scene where Chuck Norris turns to Willie Scott and's like, you're a fucking whore. And she's like, well, if you're hitting on me, I'm not wearing the right outfit. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Because they really lean into that. Like, I thought nuns were supposed to be a virgin, active virginal. It's like, why is the word virgin popping up so much? This is weird.
I don't know. We might have passed it. It might not happen. I don't know. Again, time is irrelevant in this film. But there's a part in this movie where Chuck Norris is talking to the girl, and he's like, why don't you tell me something, I don't know, intimate? And she's like, oh, I'm a psychic, and I have visions. And he's like, I thought you were going to tell me you sleep naked. And she laughs and she goes, I do. It's like, what the fuck is this movie?
There's like all this
is that
sexual
dirty?
tension. Yeah. I mean,
like, what? Yeah. Chuck, I forgot, I don't think we've said it yet, but Chuck Norris is fucking horrible in this movie.
Oh, he's the worst.
It's real bad.
Yeah,
it's like the sound
charisma.
Is off, and they had to like redub the whole thing, but it's playing at like 1/4 speed or something. Like nothing seems to sync up right. It's like super off-putting.
I'm just gonna say this: I feel bad for Louis Gossett Jr. because he's trying. God bless him.
He's doing work in this movie. Did any of you? I said it in the text, but am I crazy? But like Chuck Norris was giving me Hulk Hogan vibes. Like his acting, because he does the same thing where like to emote, he just talks very softly, and it doesn't. Like I don't understand what he's doing.
It's less explicable for Norris because he is a professional actor. Like that's his job. Also, like that scene where she's like flirting with him after he's just like fucking dunking on her for having had sex at some point in her life. I'm like, did people want to fuck Chuck Norris? Because he's got like this like terrible bowl cut and he's got that like bad like every Irish feature that's not attractive on a man that would be on a woman. And like he's just a fucking mess. Like as a human being, like was he a sex symbol?
I think he was something. Someone must have wanted to. Someone wants to fuck everybody. Put that on a shirt.
An ass for every chair.
Yep.
Thanks, Jimmy Palmiotti or John P.
So now, so after Operation Bad Habit, and after they end up in like this warlord territory, they finally get sent on their way off to either a temple or series of caves, and they're still being pursued by the Red Cyclops, Sonny Landham, and then somehow, this is where I kind of lost it. Like the girl gets separated from them, and at the same time, Louis Gossett Jr. gets like absconded away with, and he gets hung from a ceiling over a bath of acid, I guess. And then there's like have to like save like a Batman. Like, are you gonna save him or are you gonna capture me? Sort of.
Oh no! Hey, pause before you get to this. There's a scene I wanted to touch on briefly because it's like the most insane scene in the history of movies. Like it really stuck with me. There's like she keeps trying to get in the lake and like there's alligators or whatever. So finally she like swims across the lake. She's like, "What's the matter? Can't you swim?" He's like, "Of course I can." And then he dog paddles across this lake in real time for 45 minutes and nothing happens. Like you're waiting for like literally anything to happen, or it's like a joke that he can't swim, or like, but it's nothing. And then he just gets out of the lake and I don't understand it. It's like very Firewalk with me. Like I don't know why it's there. Like I don't know if there was something that cut out of it.
I thought you were going to talk about the sliding door in the cave, like the sliding rock wall door.
The big foam door that bounces when it closes. Yeah.
That's the part that stuck with me. I was like, how?
There's also
why? And to what end?
It's barely a runner. I would say it's more of a jogger that Chuck Norris can't shoot. Like he can't, he has no aim. That's brought up maybe once and then like kind of a second time and then pays off by him shooting the bad guy in the chest, but he's fine 10 minutes later.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I was watching a retrospective on the Kids in the Hall movie, and I didn't realize how often we quote that movie. Like the fucking who are you? Just some guy. That's from that movie, and fucking the toast fucking thing is from that movie.
Yeah,
like good movie.
Yeah.
Where's Dad? He's upstairs watching gay porn again.
Again.
Mr. October.
You go over there and fuck him, and we'll stay here and jerk off. Yes, sir. Anyway.
It's where you fuck or get fucked with. Toast.
And do they let them die with dignity? No. Every year they parade them around like the goddamn astronauts.
Cat on my head.
Not hashish. No, not hashish.
Horse tranquilizers?
No, not horse tranquilizers. Hey, calm down. Have some stummies.
Did you clean the gun, son? Yep.
How many flipper babies?
Just a couple of flipper babies. Actually, I think of that movie every day in my new job because I've got a conference table in my office, and I just walk past and I look at my assistant and go, "When are we going to get the big table in here?" And she's just looking at me like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
You just need to put a big thing of fucking those like chalky mints in there, and then just put stummies on the side of the bowl and see if anyone gets it.
You know what? Fuck stummies, Don. Well, I don't think I will fuck stummies, Chris.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That is a good movie. So anyway, then there's like an ongoing battle with Sonny Landham, and then I think the woman has like a psychic awakening. I forget how this movie. I blacked out.
Do you know why she's always hungry? Because they like reference it 4 or 5 times, and she's like, "I hope they have a good restaurant there." And he's like, "When are you gonna tell her?" I'm like, "Tell her what?"
I don't know. I didn't even pick up on. I was so confused by everything else. Her like dietary quirks did not register with me. I just figured it was if they were doing anything, I just thought they were trying to do like a Brad Pitt in the Oceans movie where that just.
You think this is a Toshiro Mifune reference?
Just a bit. But like after Sonny Landham,
real quick, because I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. That Bullet Train movie looks like kind of shit.
Looks like trash.
Yeah, is that the movie they keep advertising on ESPN like during the NBA playoffs? Yeah.
Looks shitty.
Looks bad. Looks really bad.
So help me out. Sonny Landham gets shot in the chest. At some point, they do like the nice knife, Mr. Burton, like throws the knife at Sonny Landham.
That is hilarious because
that is the best part of the movie.
When they cut to it, the arc of the knife is like beyond physically possible. Like it's like this weird like fucking lob that he catches, but there's like a frame cut out of it where something must not have went right.
They did the reverse. Like they did it where like they just reversed the film. It looks so bad.
Yeah, well, I guess I'd have to catch the bullet, wouldn't I?
It was. But how does Sonny Landham actually get God in the end?
Why don't you take this sacrificial knife, you son of a bitch?
Like I'm honestly, I watched it like on Wednesday. I am blanking on how this movie ends. I know he gets shot in the chest.
He gets shot. Shot. Then they fight. Because we haven't really talked about it, but there's several points of really bad American slow karate in this.
Yeah, a lot of American slow karate.
You've got Chuck Norris, who's known like specifically for karate, but like I don't even think he's doing all the karate because there's a lot of weird like would look like stuntman cuts where it's from behind and from the side and like nothing happens in the same frame.
Yeah, but then this is the best part. So he gets shot. Then there's slow karate. Then he knocks him back down on the altar, and there you go to leave. And then the woman dumps some like ashes on him, and then sets him on fire or something.
Right. Because didn't the old shaman give her the ashes in the bag? Yeah, it was like his Jerry Garcia ashes from fucking Half Baked.
It's fucking weird. It's like, oh, we gotta burn this fucking guy alive.
And then it's just the movie ends, right? Then they're back at the bar.
Oh no!
Well, they go on a cruise.
They go on a cruise.
That's right. Because they always wanted to have like. Oh no! They stab the dagger into the altar, and it slides over, and it makes like it opens up Scrooge McDuck's money bin.
No, that happened before this.
Is that before?
Yeah, that happened before because they they have the bags of gold when they have the final showdown.
Yeah, but when they get to the money vault, they just like stand there, like it's like they're just waiting for a line to be fed for like a minute. They're just kind of like standing,
and they're carrying like oodles of treasure off of this mountain.
Yeah. But then the movie ends with the bad guy from the beginning of the movie, like, "Hey, we meet again." So it's like, what? What?
He's a bartender at like a resort in Ibiza. Like,
I want that guy's fucking arc in a movie.
Like, I don't understand that.
Is the movie a dream? Like,
I want a 20-minute scene where he's interviewing for this bartending job, and they're like, "Hey, what's this gap in your employment history?" And it's like, "Well,
I was a desert raider. I was the commander of the Desert Raiders. That's management experience right there."
Yeah.
Yeah, Firewalker.
My dune buggy was festooned with Chinese lanterns.
I'm very familiar with Perrier, let me tell you.
Yeah, like what is happening in this movie?
That was Firewalker.
That's Firewalker.
This movie is boring as fuck too. Like, I know Gogs makes it sound, and it's not a bad thing, Gogs. You do a great job, but like the way Gogs says it, I'm listening to it. I've seen the movie. I'm like, man, I'd like to watch that. I'm like,
Gogs, I'm really glad we're friends, because like if it was just me and TJ doing this podcast about this movie, it would just be like, it would be 20 seconds long.
Yeah, this movie is so hard to pay attention to.
And it's just like, it's such a, like, you know, all the things we talked about how we love about 80s movies, this is the inverse, where it's just like a cheap cash grab of 3 other movies that you liked. Yeah, you know, it's fucking Temple of Doom, it's Romancing the Stone, and like, I don't know, pick another one.
This movie's like a lost movie. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't know where you found the rip of it, but it's like, it's only available on Philo.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't buy Blu-rays of it. You can't, like...
all the Canon stuff, there's, like, a lot of, like, hardcore Canon fans. So any kind of Canon movie I can find online pretty easily. What was I going to say?
Well,
Sean, you said this movie made...
it made like $12 million. It was their second highest grossing movie that year. But, like, you didn't even touch on the fact that the Red Cyclops isn't after treasure. He's after, like, the spirit of his ancestors.
He's after the girl, right?
Question mark?
Yeah.
No, like the dagger also has magical, in addition to being a Sith wayfinder, also has some kind of magical property that's touched on that I kind of spaced out and didn't pay attention.
You need to watch the last Star Wars movie just so you can see the Sith wayfinder, by the way.
I'm good. I got it already.
That is like the dumbest fucking part of that dumbass movie.
But isn't she like imbued with the spirits of all Native Americans or something?
Yeah, something.
So on top of all its other problems,
she's like chock-a-block full of ghosts.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at my Bombs, Babes, and Blockbusters of Canon Films 10-pack collection, and this movie is not on there at all. You did.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Surprised it's not in there.
It is not. It's got
some psycho put out
Missing in Action, Invasion USA, Cobra, Delta Force, Masters of the Universe, Over the Top, Bloodsport, The Hitman, Hellbound, and the documentary.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I want to say it's one of those psycho companies, when the documentary came out, released an entire collection of their stuff, like everything.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was like $400. Yeah. But yeah, this movie is.
This movie is sub movie. Like, it's not even, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even worth like going like, well, you know, it has this and it has that, and the cinematography. It's like literally scraping the bottom of the barrel of 80s movies.
I think, Sean, you said it early on, and I totally agree. There's nothing that connects each scene to the last. It's so like hacked together.
Yeah.
Like
it's janky.
Yeah, it really is. Gogs, anything else you want to add before we get into Five Knuckle Shuffles?
I desperately, based on the trailer and the poster, I really wanted to like this movie. Like I came into this.
See where you could make a good trailer out of this movie.
Yeah, there's lots of shit happens.
God, it just made me want to watch Invasion USA or something. Fun. There's nothing fun in this movie.
Missing in Action 2 or something.
Like, yeah, it doesn't have like the intense violence that I expect in a bad Chuck Norris movie. And like, it was like, oh, he took this role because, well, they lied because I'm sure he took it for money, but they said he took it so he could spoof on his action persona. But like,
yeah, I think he was trying to play comedy in this.
He is terrible. He is not
really
funny.
Yeah. Although somebody did say Bucko, which made me laugh because all I could think of was, "You gotta clean up your room, Bucko." Like, that's all.
It was the lead, the romantic lead. She said it. Cracked me up.
Here's woke moralists. We'll see who cancels whom.
Well, if you could keep up with the bloody indiscretions of the.
I don't even know why they have women's studies. It's a net negative for the university system. That's what I want. Jordan Peterson's fucking Firewalker.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, that's Firewalker.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it so bad. I walked in. I gave it every chance it could get.
How many minutes were you into this movie before you had the oh no moment? Because I don't think I made it to the fucking part where they get untied from the stakes before I was like, oh.
No, by the time they were staked down, I was like, oh dear.
Yeah.
This is not going to go well.
Bro, I got a new microwave, and I was reading the instructions for the fucking microwave rather than watching this movie.
Bless.
Oh, and we didn't even mention the terrible font, that the fucking USA original series font that's like unreadable.
It looked like what was that bubble gum you would get that was like two gums, like it was one gum around the other one was like hot pink with a blue center.
Fruit Stripe?
No, it wasn't Fruit Stripe.
Bonkers?
That was the one where Bonkers, maybe.
Was it Bonkers? Bonkers was a chew that had that, but that's what this looked like. It was like Carolina Tar Heel blue with like Pepto-Bismol pink outline.
It looked like the colors of a swatch that would get your ass beat in middle school. You know what I mean? I can't wait to watch.
I also respect the fact that they decided to make the fucking font so big that you couldn't tell what was going on behind it during the
like legit blocked
movie.
Out like a whole ass dune buggy to see who the fucking key grip was on Firewalker.
I want some Bonkers candy though.
They still make that?
Gushers.
I don't think they do. That's the thing. I'm gonna have to go find some 30-year-old Bonkers.
I just remember those weird Gushers commercials from a few years ago where it's like if it doesn't goo, it's not a gush or some weird bullshit.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyway, 5 Knuckle Shuffle time. Alec, get out of there.
Alec.
Sorry. No, Alec hated this. There's no way. I hope he didn't watch it. It would probably ruin his whole vacation.
Yeah, he just ruined. Yeah, exactly. Just throws himself into a volcano.
God. I'm gonna pencil him in for a 6.
Yeah. I'll go first.
Wouldn't it be weird if this is the one he really liked that he did?
I'm actually kind of just doing this one for the bit. I'm going to go with 4 because now every movie I've seen so far in Louis Gossett June or July has been a 4. So this is yet another 4. It's probably worse than that, but now we're just sticking with it. It's just God bless him. Louis Gossett Jr. is really trying in this movie. Like he's not bad in it, but everyone else is so terrible.
It's so crazy. The shit we've watched him in, and to think he won an Academy Award. It's like it's not like he's a bad actor, but it's like God damn, dude.
He keeps finding himself on the wrong side of the tracks from a production standpoint. Like he's just oof. God,
at least Kim Basinger was in more than one good movie. You know, it's like it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Like this is it's. The scenes it's a disjointed mess. I don't understand what it's going for. The story is ludicrous. I gave it every chance in the world. I really did. I put it on a personal improvement plan. It failed it miserably. And so, yeah, it's a 4. It's just, I mean, it's something. I won't forget it. I didn't absolutely hate it, but it's just like, it is weird and it's boring in the weirdest way possible. Like, I don't know. This is a bad month. I really hope I hope Digstown pulls us out of it. TJ.
God, I don't even like. How do you even score this fucking thing? It's like a 3 for me, dog. I don't know. It's bad, and like I think Sean said it earlier, but like if you're gonna be this bad, at least be like violent or full of nudity, and it's neither. Like I was kind of hoping that you'd see the main chick's like naked at some point, because like I thought she was. She's been in some other stuff once I looked up her IMDb, but I didn't recognize her. But very attractive young lady. But yeah, it wasn't very violent. The karate was really bad. I will say that some of the stuff that made me laugh and perk up is like the karate scenes are really bad and they're funny bad. Like there's a bar brawl where like Chuck Norris just keeps kicking people in the back like it's like a video game challenge.
Oh, yeah. And then they cut to the guy jumping on the table from off screen.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Or like he keeps kicking people out of the same window.
I forgot about that scene where Louis Gossett Jr. is just challenging like Hispanic Zadar. Like,
that guy.
And then he says he hates fighting and like it's very weird. Yeah, he keeps calling him Alto, which I was like, oh, I get it. It's Spanish. But yeah, it's really bad. And I think I'm glad Gogs pointed it out that Chuck Norris was trying to like be funny, because like there's almost nothing worse than someone trying to be funny and it not landing. Because like Chuck Norris, I said this to Sean, I think we probably weren't recording at this point, but like you can tell that Chuck Norris is trying to be Harrison Ford in this movie. He's trying to be slick. He's trying to be funny, kind of,
or at least Alan Quartermain.
Yeah, that's a movie. There's another canon movie that we should watch. That movie is something else.
We need to have a canon month. We ever had a canon month?
January.
Oh. I know we have all next year like scheduled out.
I don't think we've ever done a canon month. But yeah, it's like a 3. It's shit. It's a terrible movie. It's terrible, but it's not terrible in the fun way like Enemy Mine was. This is terrible in like the boring way. Like I just kept thinking about people that like in 1985 going to the theater sitting down to watch this.
Yeah, someone tried to get laid after this, and it did not work out.
I think. I want to say on the Plex, it shows the Rotten Tomato, and I think it was at like 6%.
It was 3, I think.
No, it's 8 because it says considered generally negative. It's like you don't say.
Anyway, all right, yeah. So yes, 3. Who's left?
Sean.
I think Sean is left.
It's a 0 for me, Bubs. Like this movie's like fucking unwatchable. Like I dare you to watch this movie all the way through and like not do anything else. Like literally watch it like an actual movie. Like it's fucking impossible. It's like so whoever just said taking somebody to the movies. It's like I remember I was on a date one time and a girl's like, she was in college and like I don't know, Gogs, you might have had this where like the dorms would have movies you could borrow. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna get a movie. I was like, well, get something funny. And she came back with Weekend at Bernie's 2, like unironically. And like I'll never forget that. Like I would never forget the date where I went to go see Firewalker and be like, "Oh my god, you remember that guy?" And you're like, "Yeah." I don't know why he's a guy in the situation.
Really into feet.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I had to go see that fucking terrible Chuck Norris movie with Danny Glover. It's like, was it Danny Glover? I don't know. I'm fucking 70 now, but like, this movie, like, it is fucking unbearable. At least like Invasion USA has parts where you fucking missile launches a mall and shit. Like,
yeah,
this has nothing. There's like nothing to hang your hat on, like besides the fucking insane editing. Like that's like
the editing is something to watch.
It's like that. Alec would have got this joke, but like it's like the fucking episode of Futurama where they steal all the chrono particles and they just keep jumping back and forth in time into alternate dimensions, but like not interesting because when you jump to it, it's just they're doing something else boring. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this is like, it doesn't even feel like, I think the biggest insult to this is it doesn't feel like a canon movie, like in the way you want it to.
No.
You know, it's just like, it feels like one of those canon movies where it's like, Not even like the French porno canon movie. Like, I don't even know. It's like garbage tier. Like, this is a movie that, like, if Netflix existed in 1986, would have got sold to them, and we'd have been watching the fucking Broncos versus the Redskins, and it's like, coming up next, on Netflix, fucking Walker, like,
right.
I got nothing good to say about this movie. Like, not a thing. Like, I was so fucking bored. I'm glad you guys, like, pulled me out of it, because, like, I was like, this show's gonna be very short.
Yeah.
And again, you describe it, and it's like, oh, that sounds awesome, and it's like, it is not.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, just throw some fucking wizards and shit. Like, who cares?
Yeah, the problem is they went bonkers, but they didn't lean into any of it hard enough.
No, it's like we got to ground our magic system for this fucking Firewalker movie that nobody's going to give a shit about. Like, I don't understand any of the choices at all. Like, it's just fucking bad.
It wasn't like the whole Firewalker conceit. We didn't touch on it, but it was like you needed to, like, it was like to become like a perfect being and fuck the sun or something.
Yeah, like that was the thing where the dagger had the fucking spirits of his aunt, all that shit.
Also, one last thing that I meant to touch on before, but I hate Native American mysticism, specifically from the 80s, because it just reminds me of, like, white people with fucking dream catchers in their living rooms and all that shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Native Americans, but, like, the weird, like, white people mystification of, like, all Native Americans are wizards.
There's a fucking weird. There's a line in Messiah Complex where Warpath goes, my people walked in the spirit world. It's like, thanks, Rick Remender. Like, it's like, that's what I always fucking think of. Like, it's because nobody knows shit about Native Americans, because there's only like 6 of them left, and they're all in this movie. You can just say fucking whatever you want. It's all just vague mysticism.
Well, it reminds me of, like, the magical Negroes that Stephen King puts in all his books, and that always feels racist and weird because you're othering. It's like I mean, he does it with Native Americans as well. So it's
covering all
weird.
The magic race base.
Yeah, can you not do that?
Yeah.
Can we stop doing that, please? It's fucking weird. And I don't know, maybe it's because, like, my former stepfather was, like, all about the fucking Native American crap, so it just kind of triggers me in a different way, but it's just, I hate it. I don't like it at all.
A lot of turquoise in that fucking family.
Yeah. It's, and, like, the fucking, the goofy rugs and all that crap. No. Anyway. So next week, Alex picks is Diggstown, right? He's not here, but it's his pick.
Yeah.
So Diggstown, a movie I've never seen.
I've never seen it either.
I've heard it's very good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. What did he win the Oscar for?
Officer and a Gentleman.
And Iron Eagle 3.
Another movie I've never seen.
That's actually good. I mean, for that, like, 80s, like, military romantic drama type movie.
Is that Richard Gere?
Yeah, and Deborah Winger.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, from the band.
All right. Deborah and Kip Winger. The Wingers. All right, everybody. Well, that's the show. Don't go watch Firewalker. It's real bad. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Eat your own ass. Guys, you got anything to promote?
Not Firewalker. Diggstown, maybe.
If Nate shows
watch,
up,
you know what? I got something to promote. Yeah. Go watch Point Break. I've been alarmed at how many people haven't seen the original Point Break. Go watch Point Break.
You've been alarmed by that?
I had a very long conversation with people I work with, and, like, a vast majority of them had not seen Point Break.
Oh, you need to get over that, dude. Like, if there's somebody that's, like, 10 years younger than us, and they're not, like, movie psychos like we are, you're going to be shocked at the amount of movies they've never seen.
I'm bringing my Blu-ray into work, and I'm going to be signing it out to people specifically.
But you also got to remember, if they are movie psychos, a classic movie to them is The Matrix 2, because, like, we're old. You know what I mean? Like,
well, go out there, go out. Everybody, get on the street corners and pump up the original Point Break.
It would be like somebody being pissed at you when you're 19 because you never saw M. You know what I mean? Like, it's
fair.
fucking a 50-year-old movie.
Well, but you know, the thing about that is, Sean, and I thought about this a lot because when I was a fucking nerd, like a young nerd, I did watch M, but you know what? Because there wasn't as much shit to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to like search that shit out and find it. And then I would like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not nowadays where it's like...
there were only like 9 movies pre-1975 available to see at home. So like, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. Anyway.
All I'm saying is, this isn't even... I'm not even making it challenging for people. Just go watch Catherine Bigelow's Point Break. Do yourself a favor.
Just watch all Catherine Bigelow's movies. She's very underrated.
Yeah.
You can skip K-19. It's not the best.
I forgot she made that. Well, watch fucking Near Dark, though. That movie's great.
Yeah. Or Strange Days. That's a fucking underrated
Strange Another one that I forgot that she directed. Yeah, Strange Days is like...
That movie's fucking wild.
Fantastic. Way underrated. Especially amongst, like, cyberpunk movies.
I was going to say, it's about as close to a Neuromancer movie as you're going to get, I think.
Yeah, agreed. But anyway. And don't watch Avatar 2. I don't know when it's coming out, but I have no interest in watching
it. I'll tell you how boring Firewalker was, and I'll just wrap it up real quick. I spent 7 hours yesterday playing a video game called Power Washer Simulator and had way more fun than watching an hour and a half of Firewalker.
I told you, I was looking at my microwave. I got a microwave that's also a convection oven and also an air fryer. So I was reading the instructions for that. Very excited about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, does it all. All right. Yep. Well, eat your own ass, people. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.